Okay, let's make some salads. There's a chicken cooking, some chicken breasts cooking. These are hard-boiled eggs. We do this so that we don't mix them up with our regular eggs. And it's fun having faces. I find that older eggs are easier to peel. If they're older, and I take a thumbtack or something like that and poke the end of the egg, and it lets the water kind of bubble up into the egg, and that also helps it peel easier. So just a little trick there. I don't know how many we're going to use. I never know in advance, because you can put anything you want into these salads. There's no set, whatever you like. I try to think about the salads that I've had in restaurants over the years that I really liked. Even just as simple as a club salad. You put ham or just whatever. I put apples in all of my salads because I just really like it. So, okay, everything is prepped and ready except let's cut up. I like to use different kinds of peppers because they're really pretty, the different colors, and plus different colored foods is just, for whatever reason, they have different benefits to them. So these have been washed and cleaned, obviously. These are bigger, so I'll cut these in half. And red. I also like to use they're like little miniature peppers like this. They're yummy in there, but they're really expensive, and they're just actually the same thing as these, but miniature sized and funner to work with. So, just personal preference. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and cut these in half to make them a little more manageable. There we go. And baby carrots, I try to buy stuff that's going to be convenient for me. So baby carrots are already peeled, they're already little. And I cut everything in pretty big sizes. Like, I don't dice anything, because one of the nice things about these salads is you don't even really need dressing. There's just so many yummy things in them that putting dressing actually ruins them sometimes. So you can just eat them straight, as it were. And I'm going to use small amounts of everything, because by the time you get done prepping, you're going to have a whole bunch of food. I'm going to do enough salads for the week. Jim will take probably 4 of them, and I will keep, 2 or 3 here for me. So this is a great personal sized salad. Just absolutely perfect for one person. Okay, so there's that. And let's see, do some celery sticks. Celery I cut relatively small, because getting a giant monster bite of celery is not thrilling. Oh, I know what I need to get. I need to get some red onions. I don't like scallions. A lot of people do, little green onions, but you can use any kind, again, you can use whatever pleases you. And we like red onions around here, so that's what we're gonna do. Again, onion would be another thing, after I said I don't chop anything tiny, that I do, because we don't want to get like a big old monster bite of onion. Walla Walla sweets are also really good to use in these if you like white onions. Okay, so there's some onion, and I pretty much exclusively use Honeycrisp apples in this, in my salads, because they're awesome. But any kind of a sweet apple would work fine. Honeycrisps are also really good in potato salad. Just another idea there. And we'll just start with 2. I think that'll be more than enough. I'm absolutely not using the right knife right now. My paring knife disappeared temporarily. It always shows up, but it goes walkabout now and then, and I don't want to look for it. So we're going to do this. Just use a good old-fashioned steak knife. Okay. The apples in decent sized chunks. And we'll cut these in half. Those are good bite sizes. God, you can just hear them as you're cutting them, the crispness of them. Absolutely delicious. If you want to use big jars, I may end up doing that for a night when it's more than just me at home. Can make a salad, a large salad that'll feed 2 or 3 people. Actually, let's go ahead and pull one out just to have on standby here. Alright, there's our apple. And I think the last thing we have to cut here is cucumbers. I've already washed them. I think I'm going to start with 1. We'll see how it looks. Again, decent sized, thick slices. You get a nice, you can just poke your fork around and hit a vegetable. And yeah, very yummy. I use an organic spring mix salad. And then I also have kale, and I'll combine the 2 for my greens. But let's go ahead and start. All right, so I start with my dry ingredients on the bottom, and right here we have you can use, this is excuse me, glazed walnuts, right? Okay, these are glazed walnuts. You can use almonds or regular walnuts or whatever you like. So let's get started here. You can tell I take a lot of care in portioning this out. Not. Just kind of comes out however it comes out. Okay. I have dried cranberries here. I don't use a whole bunch of these kinds of things. These are like just little toppers that you would throw on top of your salad. So we're just going to put a few in each just to give it a little surprise when you take a bite and catch one of these. It's kind of a nice little delight for your mouth. Next we're going to do sun-dried tomatoes. I use 3 kinds of tomatoes in here. I use little sweet red tomatoes, little sweet yellow tomatoes, and sun-dried tomatoes. Because, well, the yellow and the grape tomatoes, the little red ones are called grape tomatoes, they're very close in flavor. But sun-dried tomatoes have a flavor that's distinctly theirs. Okay, there's that. Okay, when I do 2 things out of a can, I use olives and also kidney beans. So what I do is I pull them out early and then I let them drain. Actually, I usually bust them up. Here's another good thing about using these big jars. You can stick your hand right in them. So we're going to break them up. You could put them in whole, I suppose. That would be fine. And these I can count out like 5 each. Or 4, whatever. There's 5. I think I'll run out though if I keep doing 5. We'll do 4 in these. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have 5 left over for our big jar. So that worked out fine. Kidney beans. Again, you know, I just eyeball stuff, and you know, I've gotten relatively good at it because I've been doing it a while. But if you're the kind of person that likes to, you know, count them or weigh them or whatever, you can certainly do that. But I don't think anybody's going to be noticing how many kidney beans they got in their salad. Okay, there's that. Now we do red tomatoes. I kind of like to put these along the sides, 3 of them. On the edges so that when it's made you'll be able to see the colors through the jar. A noisy puppy. Abby! have sweet little yellow tomatoes. Yummy. Just put 2 of those in. I get carried away sometimes and then there's no room left for the lettuce, so I have to be careful. Abby! Better let her in. Get in here, come on, you hush. All right, put a little more in here. And then let's go ahead and put our peppers in. Actually, let's wait on those. Let's put something green in and we'll layer it that way. I'll put some celery in here. Mix it up a bit. Got my celery mixed in with my carrots over here. Accident. Closer to you. Probably could have put more celery, but that's okay. All right, and some apple. Never have too much apple for me. I just think it really makes a salad scrumptious. Okay. And now maybe some carrots. And this is why we don't get our veggies mixed together. This is my bad, not paying attention. Okay, and let's do some cucumber. I have some really fat ones that are in these, so I'm taking one out of each, just a few of them to put in my big jar, because I didn't plan on the big jar, but it'll still work just fine. Okay, and now let's go for the red peppers, just a few. They add such a pretty color. And the orange, no, let's do the yellow next. You see what I mean about, you know, going in and getting a giant bite. These are sweet peppers, by the way, so I don't like green bell peppers. You might, which is groovy. Go ahead and use them, but these are just sweet. Again, underplanned. That's fine. And our orange, just a couple of those. See how pretty that's looking? I wouldn't want to eat that. Even a kid would be excited, I think, to eat that salad. And the onions are just sprinkled. And I may have to cut the other half of the onion. It looks like I will. That's not going to be nearly enough. Onion really is just a nice, it's just a nice addition with all the sweet stuff. It counteracts it and just kind of balances it out better. So do some more of those. Out perfect. Okay. All right. Now come. Also, I have pears over there. I think next when I make the next batch, instead of apple, I'll use pear. And I think I'm just going to use the spring mix this time and not the kale. Although I like the kale in it, but. Put a little bit in. I'm a big proponent of pre-cut kale and spinach because wow, what a pain. You could just do kale salads in this. You have to be kind of hardcore. Such a good green though. Okay. And I juice, so a lot of times I'll cut up extra. Okay, here's the spring mix we use. It's this. There you go. And I'm just gonna punch it down a bit. I don't want to bruise it too much. If you shake your veggies down, create a little bit more space. Okay. Let's do that first. I created more space by doing it first in this one, but look, the colors now don't line up like in rows like they do in the other one. So, not as aesthetically pleasing perhaps, but more space, so. This spring mix shoves down nicely. I mean, you can get a lot of greens in there. So when you dump it out, it looks like a lot more salad than it does in the jar. And I haven't exactly figured out why this works so beautifully in the jars. The only thing I can figure is that it doesn't breathe like plastic might. So absolutely no air and no moisture are getting in here. And since I took a lot of the moisture out of, I mean, I made sure that I washed them in advance and there's not like wet veggies going in here, everything is dry. You could probably do this salad upside down in the other direction I don't think it really would make any difference whatsoever. This is just how I've been doing it. This one will have a lot more greens. Okay. Now I've got hard-boiled eggs. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, so 8. So let's do so each got like one of these. This one I put an entire egg in. And I have this, I really like it. It's McCormick's Salad Supreme mix. And I put a little bit of that on top. Should have done that actually before I put the egg in, but whatever. And again, especially if you're not going to put dressing, that just makes it yummy, yummy. And voila. Let me put a little bit more kale in here. I like it to be at the top or close to the top so that there's the least amount of air inside. So if I have space, I just punch a little bit more salad in there. Keep in mind when you dump this out, you're gonna dump it, and because the mouth is wide, it makes it much easier. You're gonna dump it into a bigger bowl and toss it at that point. So it doesn't become a tossed salad until you toss it. Toss it in a bowl. And look at that, we've used just about all of this lettuce mix. So that was a pretty big container of lettuce. So we got a lot of lettuce in there, even though it may not look like it. It's like it's compact. Yeah, we're gonna use every bit. Perfect, perfect. Beautiful. Last time I put green beans and snap peas are really good in them. Just a couple more ideas. These have these kinds of lids. I'm not vacuum packing them, but they're tight. Keep the air out. Nice and tight, and voila! There you have it. This will last at least 7 or 8 days in here without wilting. Magically, if you left it in a container or in a bag, you'd have mush. Oh, speaking of which, I have mushy radishes over here. Just the greens are mushy though. I don't like radishes, but I'm not the only one eating these salads, so I'm not going to be selfish. Let's do this. Just a little bit, enough for him to be able to get a bite without me gagging. And with the big chunks, you can pull out what you don't want, which makes it super nice. I'll just pop a couple in there, and there we go. Even shove it down along the side and make it look pretty. Huh? Yep. So then you're just going to refrigerate these. I have a little spot in my fridge that is for nothing but jars. That they fit real well, and my husband doesn't like to take these to work because they're heavy in his bag, the jars are. So I leave them in the jars until he's ready to go to work, and then I just switch containers. I take it from the jar and I pour it into a Tupperware dish for him so that it's more manageable, because he goes away for two days at a time. By the time we get 2 days worth of meals in there, it gets pretty heavy. So we want to keep it light. But this primarily is for storage and convenience. I don't know anybody that loves to make salads, and not me, man. Obviously very time consuming, but so worth it when you do it this way. And there we are. Voila. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very nice. We have a nice little setup here of salads for a week. So that's that. Happy chopping. Ta-ta.